Jenny.
Well, your hair looks great, Chris.
Thanks. I know. I look like, do you remember those people that live next door to the Flintstones with the long black hair, the Wayans
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
That's all I got going. I can't, this is it. This is all I got. The only thing that provides me comfort is other people have bad hair too. And
Yeah, well, you know, you're getting closer to that haircut day.
oh, God help me. Okay. Anyhow, sorry about I won't even explain. It's just been a crazy ass day. That's all. Anyhow, I had a really, really, really super important interview this morning. Crazy important. VIP. Couldn't believe he'd be on the show. He booked it like 6 weeks ahead. What we all don't tell the world is England does their time zone way further after we do ours. So they just did theirs. So he's sitting there this morning going, "You're not here. Thought you'd be here. Blah, blah, blah." Well, because his clock changed like 3 weeks ago. And so mine didn't, yours didn't, right? So that just sent me into hysterics the rest of the day, because now I was like, oh my God, I wouldn't have him sitting there waiting like, oh, is that today?
Let me ask you, were you interviewing Richard Branson?
No, I wasn't.
Well, then I'm sorry. This is not a good enough story.
I'm just so easily manipulated. So anyhow, it just created a whole bunch of craziness. Okay. Jenny. Let's dive in here. Jenny's notes. How are you doing? It's getting to the point, Jenny, I can't log into LinkedIn without your face coming up.
Oh, that's good. I'm haunting you.
Yeah. Like I go, whoa, there she is scrolling past me in a video. Okay.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I was in the middle of editing a post on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So let me just finish it because you showed me how to do it in Basecamp.
Oh, cool.
I should be able to just hit the go button here. I know what the problem is. Okay, hang on a second.
Oh.
Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay, so where I am is I have gone through Basecamp some and Google some and used the toolkit checklist some. And yesterday I spent a bunch of time getting all the videos that I have done as Freedom Friday sessions. They're edited and they're ready to go. They're still up in, I'm using this program called Zubtitle, and it doesn't let me download it. So I still have to call my tech guy and find out what's wrong with my computer that it won't let me download these video files.
Okay, because clearly there's something wrong.
Yeah, and it says I have a network area where I'm not on a network, I'm on Microsoft Office. So I think I have to call them and find out what's going on.
Okay. I can't promise you anything, but Evan's pretty good at those things. So is the tech guy going to cost you money?
Probably not, but if Evan could fix it, that would be great, because that it's almost like this is really good that I'm going through here are the processing steps, because now I know where things are failing.
Right.
And knowing that when I fix it, it's going to have a big outcome. The other thing is with Zubtitle, most of these Zoom recordings are closer to 40 minutes. And what I've had to do is I download it as the MP4, and I use Microsoft Photo Editor to trim it. And I have to put it in 20-minute segments because that's the most that Zubtitle will allow me to upload at once. And so I think your Descript would work, but I don't know how to use Descript.
Okay, so then, never mind. Hold on. Never mind. Send him.
So
Never
it's
mind
like,
again.
which of these problems would be the most useful for us to solve?
Okay.
Because I think that Descript would let me put things back together correctly.
Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. Let me back up for 1 second and then address these. First of all, your chapter is done. We got the chapter. Do you want that? We just have it on a Google Docs thing. You want that on like a nice PDF?
I do. Like, you know, you sent me pretty ones that I save on my desktop because they're so beautiful.
Okay.
And that's what I think I want it to look like is,
Okay.
why can't I show it? You know, something that's flashy that people notice and go, oh my gosh, I got this 12-page ebook.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
So
called an ebook and doesn't look like a Word document.
Okay. 1 sec. Jenny's chapter in the ebook. Milo. Okay. We're on that. Okay. No problem. So here's what I would say. First of all, this is a huge thing that you're doing, and it's really, really helpful. And this is where most people go wrong, is you try to make everything one piece and then you hand it over to somebody else, but you've never tested it. And then they come back and say, well, it's not working. And you find out step 3 didn't work and you gave them 25 steps. So this part you're doing right now is beautiful and so helpful. So what I would say to you is, I don't use Descript, my team does, but I know I watch the videos and it's super simple. So what I would say to you is I would check out Descript. Zubtitle sounds like it's got too many limitations, and we're just in a modern world now where that kind of stuff is just not needed. Also, I know for a fact you can just grab sections of Descript and just export it. So what I would tell you is
that would be a lot better because I had some sections that I wanted to chop out. And right now what's happened is I just post it with crap because I say, well, people will see me improving.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good for you though, because the old Jenny would have been like, Chris, you don't understand, right? So what I would say is, it's out and we can get better. But the reality is too, we have to remember, and it's all hard for us, is that the people getting that content, when you get good content, you don't care if they're wearing a banana on their head. You're like, oh
Right.
yeah. But then yet I'm trying to make it all look pretty, but my content is crap. So worry about content first and looking good second. So what, unless you need a haircut. So what I would say to you is go to Descript. Hold on. I know they have steps here. Let me just see, because they have to put manual things in here every time. Toolkit, toolkit tools. Let me just share my screen. Am I sharing my screen yet? Toolkit. Toolkit tools. Here we go. We have a toolkit just for tools. Oh, this is just for transcribing. It's super easy. Okay, so I would go into Descript, spend 15 minutes, 30 minutes there at the most. If you struggle, my team knows how to use it. I will set you up with a meeting with them and they will walk you through it. Don't spend an hour on it, spend 30 minutes. If you've got any,
you discovered that.
Pardon me?
Okay. Yeah, it makes more sense to change now since you know what it looks like. Okay.
Yeah, and I think you'll find it much, you can download it, you can export it, you can trim it, because even I, who have a team, like I have somebody that takes care of all our video. What we were doing before is we would have to say, okay, here's the timestamp, clip it from this time to that time to this time. So even us, just pull in Descript, export it, we save a step with our editor. So even though I have an editor, this is quicker. You don't even have an editor, right? And why hire one when you can, like, it's a matter of hitting 2 buttons.
Okay.
And you know exactly what you want. Yes. Okay. So I would do that. And what's your next hiccup?
I think that mainly what I realized is I was taking too long to edit, and then it's not fresh content. It's not getting pushed out. So that's what I'm really focusing on, is just pushing that out. And I did one last Friday and one the other Friday. And these are executives that run these federal contracting things, and they had great stories. And I did the switch back and forth, like you said. So I'm seeing what you're talking about. And I'm not worried about how many people are showing up. I'm just realizing that I'm getting people to talk to me that nobody else is talking to that way.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If you get better and better at the production value, you need less and less editing.
Right.
So don't worry about editing, worry about improving it. And here's the other thing that we get lost in. But what you have to remember is the Jenny I met even a couple months ago, I'd be like, well, where are you going here? And you had these appointments. I didn't put my hair and makeup on, so I didn't go out to a meeting. And you'd have to drive there. So even if you have 5 people in this meeting, that would have been a whole day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it is I don't care if one person shows up. One person gives me enough to talk to so it's natural and there's dialogue, and then I can save it and repurpose it later and learn from it. But
Right.
here's the thing, you didn't have to pay for gas, and then if you had an appointment from 2 to 2:30, you had to encompass travel time, and what if they ran over? So it would take you a full day to meet 4 people because you can't have them back to back, right? So now you're meeting them, we're only going to get better, and I would work on the production value versus the editing of it, and keeping it the pacing and changing it and value bombs and do all kinds of things like that, and anchoring it and educating them why these, like I say to you, like, you don't even know that I just saved you 6 months of heartache. Like, I'm not kidding you. I just figured this out 6 months ago and it ran into all kinds of problems. So what you want to be doing is constantly marketing while you're marketing about what you're marketing, right?
Right.
So I would just keep that up and worry about the other stuff later. With the Descript too, you can always go back because it's on file and you can break them up into pieces,
Okay.
and then you could create a system where you could say, here's the whole video. And like, we even do a quote card. So you might take the best or like the beginning of a story. Like you can get so creative with it and make it a system. So somebody told a great story. You could just show the first 2 minutes, like, you got to hear the beginning of this story. Boom, boom, boom. They listen. Okay, you're going to want to hear the end. Here's the full video.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So just keep doing what you're doing. And you might even get into your process here where you'll say to them, here's what the intro goes. We find it best if one person comes with one story. Like, you can start, now that you can see what works, you can start priming people ahead of time and saying, here's what we like you to have one good story on hand. They relate to that. This is what, and they'll give them a recipe. Here's the ingredients I want you to show up with.
Right. And it also, I was recording things that we're announcing the next time's thing on the current one. And by the time people see it, it's too late. So it's the sequencing, getting it out further ahead. Like, I've still got to, I have people scheduled, but I haven't created, you sent me a PowerPoint. I haven't updated that. I haven't contacted and everything else. So it's like, I can't keep farting around on one thing, trying to make it better while I'm messing up over here. So,
right.
So anyway, it's like, I feel like I'm going in a slightly different direction, but I'm really having so much fun with Freedom Friday. I can't imagine not doing it. And the people will show up, and it is unique content that people are going to go, how did you get an interview with Brian Butler? Well, I called him. He's my friend. We're like that. Yeah. Do you want a friend like that? That's me.
Yeah. So here's the thing too. What I want you to keep in mind is, if you can keep them evergreen, that's better. So don't be announcing next week's guest on it, because then that will be outdated when you put it up on YouTube. So what you could say is, well, you guys know the drill. Like, Freedom, it's same bat channel, same bat time next week. We're going to offer you a replay. You won't want to miss next week. Keep an eye out online, and we'll share with you who's coming next week. And that way they can be searching even if it's a year from now.
Yeah, and it is going out in, I'm doing a weekly couple of lines worth of a newsletter to my 250 people that were at my event. And I'm just letting that go out there, and I'm not worrying a whole lot about what it looks like, but it's getting the whole process into place so that I know how the process works, because I can always add people.
Yes. And because here's the thing, Jenny, what you're doing right now is, I mean, oh my gosh, this is like a before and after Jenny Craig commercial here, because you're showing up, you're vibrant, you're lit up, you feel excited, and you're saying, okay, so what you're saying to me right now is, okay, there's whatever, 5, 10 people coming. and you're like, I can't imagine not doing it, but you like doing it. You're setting up a process that each week gets more and more efficient. So the only thing next is more people, more money.
Right.
Like you're building an assembly line, so it can only go from, okay, I like doing it, it's getting easier to do it, so I can do it for more people and I can charge more money. That's it. We're going in the right direction.
Right. Well, the other thing I really like about it is this is something I can do that once I get that process down, I become the star of the show and I have somebody else do the work. Whereas with my accounting stuff, nobody can do that but me. So it's kind of like, it's time to give that up. I mean, it's not that I'm going to give it up. It's that
Yeah.
I'll be able to use these to draw people into a conversation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so anyway.
And then you could have the Freedom Fridays. And like we showed you before with the Academy, you can have the Freedom Fridays there, and then they'll opt in here and they'll see an info product that you sell for $97. Oh, I didn't know she did that. And then they could have the coaching thing. So all of a sudden, let's say now you take on, now you're doing 2.5 days of an accounting thing a week. And then you've got a drip campaign of $97 a couple times a month or whatever, where you put a pressure out that you're launching it again. Like there's different touch points that will also lead you into retirement. Like 20 years from now, if you drop the calculator and walk out the door, that's it.
Right.
Right. So we're building something here so that this part can, and then you're right, then you can be having eventually at some point, you're going to have such a name that you, like, you know, you have a email, a format. Like my team does even to the VIP guests that have my podcast, there's a format that they have and they send it. My assistant sends it. I don't send it to them, but it looks very polished. Here's all the links you need. We're so excited you're on the show, blah, blah, blah. So I don't need to be doing that.
Right. Right. So the other thing I've been doing is putting it out on YouTube. And the only thing I wanted to ask you about on YouTube is, I know we're not doing the marketing of YouTube, but as long as I'm out there, what I am doing is I've got a playlist out here. And so it's all called Freedom Friday. Let me show you my screen.
Yeah.
And so what I'm doing is just putting it out here so that, like just a few minutes ago when I was getting ready to post this thing on LinkedIn, I had to remember where it was.
Okay.
And it was on, this little video was on Google Docs or Google Drive. I downloaded it to my download folder and then I uploaded it.
Okay.
But the ones that are real items, this is the one that I did yesterday. And it's all captioned and everything. And I've got it in here. What I haven't done yet, but I could do, is take the transcription and put it down here below it just by copying and pasting.
Sure.
And I think what I'm trying to do is say, what could be a very basic thing that I could be doing on YouTube so it's part of my process. So 6 months from now, I've also got something I can improve on YouTube, but it's out there.
As far as YouTube goes?
Well, yeah, so right now, my intent would be that if people asked me between now and the time that we get something going on with the Academy or whatever, if somebody asked me, well, tell me what you do, I just want to send them a link to this video this guy did with me.
Right. Okay.
And, but I don't care, I put the transcription of it.
So here's what I wouldn't worry about right now.
Okay.
So you got two different things. Can you send them a link so they can watch it on YouTube? Yes, that's perfect. They can watch it. But right now, there is no possible, I shouldn't say no, it is extremely unlikely someone's going to trip across you on YouTube because there's a whole
I'm in a total agreement with that.
Yeah.
I'm totally agree with that.
So as long as you send them the link right now, I wouldn't even worry about how many different places the transcription is.
Well, so the reason I was thinking that though is if they go to run this, isn't there a way to have it display down here, this is where I should put the transcription.
Yes. You can put
Okay.
it there.
And so I think I know where to put that in. And I feel like if I keep doing that, then when the time comes, if we decided to put the whole thing under the Academy, all the text and copy's already there for somebody to help me move it.
Right. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, do that. And once I get through this launch in the next month, we're going to put a lot of focus into YouTube. We have a course we're going through. I have a working knowledge of YouTube. I could certainly show you some stuff for sure, but we're going to put that from local athlete to Olympic athlete in the next quarter. So
Okay, that sounds good.
we're going to, the course that we are paying for, you're going to get the benefit of that.
Okay. So other than that, it seems like we were working on getting a VA, and we were also
Yes.
working on, what was it? Oh, let me see if he changed the Freedom Friday link or picture.
Oh, if he is either doing that today or tomorrow. He was, yesterday was a holiday here in Canada.
You can't have Canadian holidays with US customers.
I know. So I missed out. I worked yesterday and then I have to
Okay.
work next week when you guys have a holiday because I have Canadian customers.
Okay, so we'll get rid of this and slide it up and change the
Yeah.
picture then.
He's
Okay.
working on that. I told him that I said, I have Jenny today, but for sure tomorrow. So he is working on that. He has that.
Okay.
I'll just make sure. He
And
did know that.
then see if I have anything else under Chris stuff. Oh, here it is. So the GovCon growth model, this is in process. And then, so what do we need to be doing about this? How do we get this? Oh, crap, I got to look at the password. What I was looking for is, I've got these other pages. And I have an inventory document, which is what I was trying to go to just a minute ago. Oh, 50 million's the password. Okay, let me fix that. So I guess what I wanted to ask is, what would be the way that this ends up going under the Academy?
Crickets. Okay. Can you put that link in the notes right here, chat? And if I click on any of these things, I can get to them all?
Yeah, because I had her do it as so that I could find the things.
Okay.
Find the chat. Where's the little chatty thing? Here it is.
My gosh, all this stuff you were just.
So I've got this, and I've got this podcast that I did for a while. And these are all out there, but I really don't know. And I think I even have a Vimeo.
Okay. 50 million. Let's try this. The password is 50 million?
Yeah.
Capital?
Capital M.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, one sec. Okay. All right. Okay, I will dive into that with Evan tomorrow. We have a meeting, and we'll start moving that stuff to the academy.
Okay. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's not even there but I thought, well, let's start with that. And then I can go through the ones that are not there and we could figure out a process for where they need to go and how to move them.
And everything there is still relevant?
Yeah.
Okay, because we don't want to move it all over and then you say it's a lot of work to move it. So you don't, oh, I don't use that anymore. Oh, I don't do that.
Well, let me see if,
We're happy to move it as long as like it's all relevant. What is that?
I wouldn't do the podcast yet. I could go through that separately, but the inventory stuff I created before I got rid of Brooke. So I'm pretty confident about that.
Okay. Oh,
And I
the
think what's good, yeah.
So hold on. This first page, the inventory stuff, that's what I'm looking at. There's other tabs, GovCon podcast. We're not going there yet. We're just at that
Right
main
now,
page.
let's just get the inventory
Yeah.
correct.
That's what I mean. Everything on the inventory is relevant.
Correct.
Okay.
And the other thing is solvability freebies and different things. And there's products for sale.
Okay.
Those should all be good links. And so the way this is working is they would do this and they could download it, but I've sold none.
Right.
And
Well,
so
you have nothing in place. You can't sell something. It's like walking into the middle of the forest and stick a note on a tree, wondering why people don't come.
right. So, the ones that say products for sale, this one, like this DCA compliant boot camp, actually has an entire section.
Okay, so here we don't want them
Like
under
this.
categories of so we got solvability freebies. Those aren't the categories we want to use because we don't want to be like freebies. It's not a good selling point.
Just call it solvability basics.
Okay.
Solvability advanced would be fine.
And what's Govology?
Govology are classes that I've recorded that if I sent people the links, they would, and they took the class, I get a percentage.
So these are under, now we're taking that information and we want to move it. It's a lot of work to move it. So we want to make sure we put it in the right drawers in the new house.
Well, so anything that's under Govology is links to courses that I've created on the Govology site.
Okay, hold on.
And so like if you click under one on the Govology, it takes you to the Govology site.
Okay, one sec, hold on. I'm losing my mind. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay. Sorry. Hold on, I just made a note for you and then it disappeared. Evan. Okay, Thursday. Okay, so the categories are we're not going to call them freebies. So what's the first category going to be?
Let's just call it GovCon Basics. Let's see, we'll call it.
Okay. And Govology is what? Govology?
Govology is, why don't we do this? Let's just look at the solvability freebies first.
Okay.
And let's just call it solvability resources.
Okay.
And not do anything but that freebies section. Because I'm with you, I don't want you to go down the whole path and then find out it really wasn't thought through the whole way.
Well, because you're a very different person than you were when you did this. So what you saw as valuable before, you might not now.
Well, they're all valuable, but what I'm not confident is the path of it. Like
right.
this initial assessment is super cool. It's a thing where they complete this questionnaire right. And it actually sends something to me. but they don't see it, so they don't know it.
And they can't get that off the academy. So the academy is a place of resources. It's not a place of a whole bunch of opt-in. Do you opt in, like you, like we don't want it to have 90, 100 opt-ins on the academy.
Okay, well, here's a good one then of the ICE.
Okay.
Let's do, so I've got them numbered, and I think I did that because I'm just like numbers. Let's do number 4 and number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, and let's just call those solvability case studies. Or no, white papers or case studies, whichever thing you think is.
Case studies. Okay.
And so those are just PDFs to move over. Let's just do those, and then we'll touch base again.
And that was the freebies one, right?
Yeah. So that I'm not trying to get you to do all this extra stuff that's not really ready.
Right. Okay. Okay. Got it. So we'll move those over. Okay. Perfect.
And that's probably a good place to stop with that.
Because it's not even about us. If we just garbage in, garbage out, we just move the garbage to another room and it's all piled up, and it's like laundry. Unless you sort the laundry, it's just another pile of laundry in another room.
All right. Okay. So I'll just say, let's move these and see how that looks and talk about next sections. Okay. Because there's other stuff on the website, but you're right. It's like, okay, these would be the simplest things for me to I could make anything that is in the case studies page public and just say they can look at it if they want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So you're on the right path. What I would do, so we'll use this as a win the hour thing today. We'll do Shadow Blast tomorrow. What I would say to you then, your homework really is to see if you could get that slideshow implemented and start using it roughly this week, like even in the roughest format.
Okay, I can do that. Yeah, I was playing with it the other day, and so I substituted this picture of me and Russ.
Yeah.
This, I got the guy's name, and so I would just change that page. That'll work. This quotations, that one was too hard for me, so I skipped it. And it was like I was afraid to delete a lot.
Did you make a master copy of this?
I probably have a backup someplace.
Okay, if not, we'll send you another one. But what I want you to know is always save a master, then you copy it, and then you can delete and mess up anything because you've got the master.
Right.
And if you might say this week, like, oh, frig, I couldn't get number 4 sorted out with the quote. Okay, fine. So you deleted it for this week. You'll come back and do the quote next week. Like, at least if you're working on it, and then we can help you. Like, just know we'll change it so it's easier, or change the quote card or whatever. We can help you with all that.
Right. And then I think I need to get, I think those were the only pictures.
That's like one of the best. It's like a wedding picture with you and him, that guy. Like, oh, lean over, look at the cake.
I know. So he's like 6'3" and I'm 5'3", but he's the guy that's gotten me this far. And so I think it really, I don't know, it gives a lot of strength. It gives me a lot of credibility to hang out with him.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm just saying, you've probably been in relationships where you didn't look as good or as happy.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is probably a good time to stop then.
Okay, so tomorrow, we had you at, you can do 4 or 1.
Hang on a sec.
Yeah,
I've
can
already
you,
got a 1 o'clock. Let's leave it at 4.
okay, gotcha. Or you could do noon.
I could do about 10 minutes afternoon and cut it a little
Yeah,
bit
that's fine.
short because I have grandma duty Wednesday.
Oh, that's cute.
And
That's
if
important
he
work.
doesn't go to bed on time, I have a problem. But
Oh, yeah.
so probably if we do it at 12:10, that'll work.
I had on my show this lady today talking about, she was a sleep specialist and entrepreneurs and all this other stuff. And so she gives this whole thing about how you're supposed to soothe yourself before you go to sleep was one of her many tips. She was pretty smart and she said smart things. And I said, so let me get this right. When my mother yelled, get in bed, it's going for 10 o'clock. That wasn't helpful.
Yeah.
I said, because it would be 7:40 and my mother would be yelling, it's going for 10 o'clock, get to bed.
Yeah,
Maybe,
that's right.
maybe that's why I have sleep issues. I don't know. Okay. Okay. So tomorrow, grandma duty, right,
Yep.
as noonish.
Noon.
We'll see you
Yeah.
then.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right, bye.
Bye.